I'll leave it over to Team Lux to present their great app, Coin Chaser.
Hello, quick introduction. I'm Mike from Team Lux. This is John, Kylie, and we've got Alana, who's remote at the moment. We're inspired to prove ourselves by learning new concepts very, very quickly. And to prove that, we wanted to write an app that was so different than anything else we'd ever learned about before in the course. And we wanted to learn how to implement GUIs as well. A multiplayer game was what we chose with totally new tech stacks. This is the game in play, and I'll hand you over to John.
So we're going to take a look at the game now, the demo. So here on the first screen, you can log in as a user, choose your avatar, either host a new game, or join an existing game. You take the room key and you give it to your friends who can paste it in, and then the host will accept your friends into the game. When you start the game, as you can see here, we've got a chat feature, so you can speak to your friends whilst you're playing. The concept of the game is a simple one. So you've got your character, which is controlled either by the arrows on the screen or by the arrows on the keyboard, has to move towards the box and find the coin to get a point. The first person to 10 points wins. Not all of the boxes have coins in them. Some of them have power-ups. So, for example, the slime, which decreases your speed, or the rocket, which will increase your speed. One of the boxes also doesn't have a coin in. So each time the host clicks the next level button, it resets and randomizes the positions. So here also we've displayed the text above, like John got the rocket, for a bit more user feedback. So here we can see Kylie climbing up the rankings. And she's magically got to 9 points, one away from winning. And when she wins, you can see Kylie won the game. And we can congratulate her in the user chat.
Thank you, John.
Okay, so tech choices. Backend logic, we chose whether to either use explicit backend acting as a host with each client accessing data, or only one app that acts as host and client. We had to make that choice. So after spiking tech stacks, we had a clear direction. So I'll hand you over to Iona, who's on remote at the moment.
Hi, everyone. A very important part of our project, and of any project, as we all experienced, I guess, is organization and planning. For our planning process, we used Figma with screen layouts on how we wanted the game to look like, and plan the React components and states accordingly. Next slide, please. We also used task management and agile methods like daily stand-ups, meetings, and Kanban board, in our case, Trello board, as the slide displays, to organize our work. Next slide, please. And for our base code, we used JavaScript to create our app and React.js for the front end of our project. Main reason we decided, after all, to go with React was the experience we gained from the course, but also because it's simple yet powerful, component-based, support server-side, mobile support, and it is extensible. Thank you all very much for your attention, and we continue with Kylie.
Our indication. We are now going to be easy to play, as you set it up. So jumping Firebase. With Firebase, it's as easy as asking for a unique ID as a host. And then as a host, you create a new room and a unique ID. If you're a client, you can use that same unique ID from the host to knock on a room. Either you knock on a room and ask to be added as a player, then the host can add you as a player, being ready to start the game. And all this was possible simply because of Firebase authentication real-time database rules. This was a clear winner for us, as it removed a lot of the complexity, time, and effort needed from us. Now to John.
So during our spiking phase, we looked at various different technologies for rendering the characters or sprites on the screen. Our aim was to make a simple 2D game, so therefore we discounted libraries such as Three.js, which we found were more designed for creating 3D graphics. Two main contenders that came up were Phaser and Pixi.js. Phaser is an entire framework, whereas Pixi.js is a rendering library. Both technologies work with WebGL whilst providing a canvas fallback for devices that don't support WebGL. With Phaser, we found that there were many plugins available, whereas Pixi is an open source library, free open source library. This is one of the reasons why we decided to use Pixi, along with the fact it renders quite fast. We encountered some challenges trying to integrate Pixi.js with React. The main issue we had was there was fairly little information on how to do this. We overcame this by watching various tutorials online and setting up a practice project ourselves for proof of concept. Eventually, we also managed to find an NPM package called React Pixi that allowed us to use Pixi and React in the way that we wanted to.
We wanted the game to be played worldwide, from somebody in one part of the world playing with somebody else, and other groups of people as well. So we had to look at real-time positioning and to get that data transferred really, really quick, well, immediately, basically. For that, we looked at WebSockets and Socket.io and Google Firebase real-time database. They were the two winners to decide upon. At the end of it, they were both very, very similar. WebSockets decided it needed its own back-end writing, whereas Google Firebase already had it. And of course, we'd looked at the authentication system, and that was through Google as well, through Firebase. So it started to come together that we put the two together as one package. Summary of the final choices is all there on the screen. Firebase, Pixi, so on, so all visible there. The challenges. There were many. One of them, particularly challenging, was combining key down and key up functions with the React.js, and also Firebase event listeners. That was quite complicated because everything's all listening together. Quite complicated to sort out, but obviously we did. And then making the Pixi play screen and characters responsive to screen size. So as you zoom in and out, the Pixi screen and all the characters change size as well and reposition themselves in exactly where they were originally. It was a massive complication, of which I had to say was solved at probably 1:30 in the morning by Kylie. And the styling was all done by John the Wizard Stanley, which yes, it took some doing, but we're very, very proud of him for that. Future possibilities, we'd like to introduce trivial style questions to win a coin, so that when you actually get to the box, it opens up and you've got a question to answer to actually win the coin, if we'd have had more time, obviously. And more modifiers in the boxes as well. There's a number of things you can add to that. Base code has a functionality to change the maximum number of boxes already implemented. It just needs the code writing for the future. And that's it. We hope you enjoyed playing our coin chaser game.